Hello, everyone. James Wilson here, and today I'm going to do a little prediction. The rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Now, we can do this one or two ways. We can do it based on what's going on right now, but and then or we can do it based on what we think is going to happen. And what we think is going to happen is based on previous history. So you got to look at previous history in order to determine what you think might actually happen. So previous history, when the Democrats won the elections, when they won their first election, 1994 was a contract with America with Newt Gingrich. The Democrats absolutely gotten smashed. But guess what? What happened in 96? Guess what happened? Yep, you guessed it. Bill Clinton won re-election. What happened in 2010? Democrats got the smackdown again. Lost the House and the Senate. Guess what happened in 2012? You guessed it. Obama won re-election. Do you see a pattern here? So, Obama's ratings report too. Just like Joe Biden, you know. So without further ado, I'm going to make a prediction, and this is based on the rematch, based on how I feel will probably go in 2024. Remember, I keep telling everyone, Republicans win in low turnout elections, which is things like midterms, possibly governorships, house races. They win where less people vote, only the educated vote because they are aware of there's an election going on, you know, and not everything is all hyped up to be in the media. When the media hypes a lot of stuff out, gets people out to vote. And some of these people, they don't know what they're doing. They're not very smart. They're not very intelligent. So what Republicans need to do is win races where there's not a lot of hype. And so it's going to come down to, is there enough hype? The more hype there is, the higher chance that the Democrats actually going to win the election. That's how it is these days. Okay, look what happened in New Jersey. Republican almost won in New Jersey. No one ever thought about that, but it wasn't very hyped, was it? It was close for a state like New Jersey. Democrats only. You get these people that come out, they come out and listen to the media. This is where, campaign funding and all this stuff comes into play, because they're trying to convince the idiots to vote for them. Only a smart individual would vote based on the issues. They do their own research on the candidate and they vote that way. It may be Democrat, you know. that's really irrelevant at this point. If it's Democrat or Republican, everyone has their own opinion. So you do your own research on the issues and you vote however you want to vote. And that's how educated people vote. The more uneducated people, their vote based on what the media tells them, and red orange man bad, all that kind of stuff, or they'll hear clippets and this and that, clippets of Trump saying something about bleach or something, and they'll just hear clippets, but they don't really know. They don't really know the issues, or they'll say something like, "Oh, I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump. He's a racist." Blah blah blah. They only know clippets. They don't know everything, and they don't call themselves political. They say, "Well, I'm not really political." In my opinion, if you're not political, maybe you shouldn't vote, but that's a whole different story. So let's go ahead and get started on this prediction. This is 2024. Trump versus Biden. I'll go with the obvious states. California is not going to switch. I don't care what anyone says. Hawaii, Democrat, okay. And Alaska's Republican. That's not going to change. All this stuff's not going to change. Even Colorado's strong Democrat. None of this is going to change, folks. I hate to say it. It's just not going to change. And see, Kansas, Oklahoma. I guess you can call it a swing state. I don't, but I guess you could call it that. And we're just kind of going with the obvious states right now. Okay. I'll say Virginia's still Democrat. And all these states are obviously Democrat. Maine, everything in Maine except for the second. That's actually Democrat. Okay. New York, obviously Democrat. So, excuse me. So this is what I kind of come up with. Okay. So, I'm going to start from east to west. I think Florida's going to Florida is very good. Florida is very good to incumbents. But I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to change. Because Trump won Florida, and Biden's really approval rating is so bad that I think Florida will stick with Trump. North Carolina, I think we'll go with Trump. And I also agree with Ohio. And Iowa, too. Iowa's a swing state, but I put that as Trump. Texas, I think Texas is going to stay with Trump. And New Hampshire, I've talked about New Hampshire many times. We'll go Democrat. Okay. The Republican only won one time since 88. So, no way is it going to go again. Maine 2nd District, I do like Trump. I think he'll be all right. But Nebraska 2nd District is going to go Democrat. Okay. And Minnesota's also going to go Democrat. Minnesota hasn't voted a Republican since 1972. However, Wisconsin's going to flip for the Republicans. I'm going to say the same thing for Pennsylvania. I think that's going to flip to the Republicans. I think a lot of the mail-ins and stuff like that. There's a lot of voting up here. I think that's going to change. I think that's going to the Biden's doing so poorly right now. I think Pennsylvania would go Republican by the skin of the teeth. I think it'll be like a point within the point. In Georgia, I'm going to make a prediction that Stacey Abrams is going to win the governorship over Purdue by about a couple of points. And Florida's just turning to the left. I mean, not Florida, but Georgia's turning to the left. And so with Stacey Abrams and her policies and procedures, since Stacey Abrams is the governor, Georgia's going to go Democrat. They're going to, have probably massive mail-ins and stuff like that. So Georgia's going to go Democrat easily. And Michigan, the rest of these states are very difficult to predict. Arizona has been trending to the right. Trending to the left ever since 16. So from from 12 to 16, it trended to the left, and it trended to the left again. Actually, Republicans lost. So I think Arizona would probably go. I mean, that could go either way. I'm really torn. Michigan, I think, with Harris being on the ticket, and for a Rust Belt having a higher percentage of black folks that reside here compared to Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, I do believe that it's going to be enough to switch the state. I think Michigan would go. Democrat, based on the numbers. It'd probably be within the point though. And so, as I said, Nevada's going to do mail-in ballots. And so it really depends on who wins the governorship. I do think that the governorships since they're doing massive mail-ins, I think Democrats would probably win that. I know Virginia, they didn't do massive mail-ins. I mean, they did mail-ins though. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Nevada go Democrat because of the massive mail-ins, and that just leaves Arizona. And Arizona, I think, would decide the election, and I just don't know at this point. I got to go with the trends right now. It's trending to the left. I think Kelly is going to win his re-election bid. I'm not really sure about the governorships and stuff like that. But remember, folks, this isn't 2022. This is 2024. These elections are more... there's a lot more hoopla to it. The media likes to try to get everyone to vote, all the idiots out there to vote Democrat. And it doesn't really matter what the policies are, because whatever the media says to do, they're just going to do it. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any comments would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.